I'm trying stuff out. Hi Sam, good evening. Let me see if this is working. Also, it's not working here. God damn it. All right, I need to. Can I copy this? I have no idea how to copy this. So yeah, we're gonna keep it at the little screen. Right. I have so many tabs that I need to open. Hey Tootlets, welcome to the party, or whatever this is going to be this evening. But oh, my mic was a little bit too far. This might be a little bit better then. I need to check my microphone if I'm using the correct microphone. Yeah, it should be working. Let me check if it's working. I think it is working. Because I'm gonna.
Ulrich?
Yes.
Hi.
That's Sam. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Are there others who can hear us, or are we the only two for the moment?
For now, everything you say will be live in the stream.
Okay.
Hi Thor. Hi Wim. So for the people that have been joining in right now, there is a Discord where you can join in and where we can discuss things. We're gonna try to keep it as orderly as possible. But I just like to have opinions about the stuff that we're going to talk about. I'm going to post the Discord link in my YouTube chat thingy. Hold on, I will open another tab. Damn, I need more computers if I want to do some more live streaming. Okay, I'll copying the Discord link now. Where is my chat? Can I type something here?
You just need more screens.
Yes. Hi Nightwing, how you doing? I'm gonna open the. Yeah, I need more screens. Like at least 2 more. I need like a whole wall of screens here. Okay. This is also working. This is also working. I'm opening the data, and then I'm gonna say hello to some people. There we go. And then damn, I have to click a lot. How can do people do this all by themselves? So the link I posted in the chat, that is to the Discord. And if you want to join the voice, you can just move into the LiveStream/open Discord voice channel, and then you will be able to talk in this and have conversations with us. I think it's a little bit easier to talk with each other than just dropping everything in the chat. But if you have questions, just drop them in the chat. Okay. And if you have any other questions than handguard questions about the jewels that we're going to talk about, just drop them in the chat. But Nightwing, good job on debating about that. If something is going wrong, just yell to me or post something in the chat. I will try to sort it out. I still have to get my head around all those fancy stuff. And if the audio is too loud, too crappy, just let me know. Last time I forgot to unmute the Discord, so everybody was having fun in the Discord, but I forgot to unmute them. So yeah, I hope this one it will be a little bit better, but I already heard Sam and Wim in the Discord. So I think it's working already.
I think so too.
Awesome, Sam. I'm trying to disable this thing. No, so you can see my screen, because we're gonna move over to the screen capture thingy. Nope, where is background? There we go. Yes, and my camera is right in front of. Okay, whatever, it's okay. And I have a new fancy thing that I will be using for the people that have been. When did I? Well, I was editing my new video, and then I was using this for the first time. So I will show you this. So if you have a question, and if we will be discussing that question like in the stream, the question will be shown on screen, and I will give you an example. Like there it is. Wim said, "Yes, new is always better." And when we are talking about a subject or something that the chat asked, the question will be on top, like there somewhere. You can see it. My fingers are not long enough, but you can see it on top of the screen. And then we're gonna talk about that there. Well, so people know what we're talking about if they are joining in. You're starting? Right. So 5 minutes past 7. That's a good time to get this show on the road. I want to thank who is in my voice. That's Sam and Wim that has been joining me in the voice. So yeah, if you feel anything, if you feel like interrupting me, if I say something wrong, or you have a question about what I'm saying, just interrupt me and we will go on with that conversation. I hope everything is clear. It's a lot of stuff, but we will see how this goes. And I need to open so many different tabs. I'm so confused. Hi Gail, welcome to the stream. And yeah, for you it's still during the day, so I'm happy that you're here, and I hope you learned some stuff. Because for me this is a really interesting topic to talk about, and for the people that what? Oh my god, I had so many troubles reading that. For the people that want to know what I was talking about, there is a window out of the house, and if it rains inside of the house. That's what it says. Right, Wim?
It's your native language.
Yes, it's my native language. Yes, it is. Okay, I have a small agenda or whatever that I want to talk about, and maybe we will start with that. I will put it right here. Is this clear enough? Is this readable? It's Dutch, so I forgot to put it in English. I need to learn stuff. Okay, so this evening we're gonna talk about the joules or FPS or meters per second or whatever that you use in your country. I made a video about this, and I noticed that when I make a video about some certain topics, it's interesting to talk about that during a live stream. Thank you, Sam. And it's interesting to talk about that and just have a chat about it and see what people think about it. For me, that's more fun than just reading the comments. I really like if you put comments on it, because then I know that it's interesting to do a live stream about it. Oh yeah, right, it's good night. Sorry, I thought you were 6 hours before. And the first thing that I wanted to do is I want to wish you welcome. Yes, so that's something that I already did. And for the people that want to join in, you can go to the Discord. And if you want to have a little bit of fun on the Discord, there is a lot of stuff on the Discord. And also we're going to talk about, and we already talked about this topic, and a lot of the stuff that we talked about will be coming on this evening. Also, there is a lot of other stuff on the Discord. And one thing that I want to point out right now is the Army of Friends advent calendar for hand signals for airsoft. And every day they put a new hand signal online, and that's just fun. Every day you learn some new stuff, and maybe it can be interesting for your team to join. So if you want to see that, just go to the Discord. The link is, I'm going to post it one more time. So this is the link to the Discord. So if you want to join that, just click on the link and answer the questions and apply and whatever, and go to the Discord. And the next thing is I'm going to explain you about the data and how we got the data about the event and what everything happened and who supported us and who was there. After that, I will just give some more explanations about what different tests that we did and how they went. Then I'm going to go over the data, just the big Excel file that you could find in the description of the video. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about how we can change stuff in the future about joules and FPS. And that's another thing, that's also linked to that, is maybe adjusting the minimum engagement distance of airsoft rifles and shooting at people. So that's a little bit where I planned that this evening was going to go. Hopefully things will change a little bit. That's the fun thing about this. But this is the guideline that I'm going to try to follow. And if we go sidetracked a lot, I don't really care, as long as it's interesting and we can talk about joules and FPS. So if there are no more questions, I think we can go on and start off with the first point. I will put this on the other screen again. And that is giving some more explanation about the event. Now, the event that we did, that was 3 years ago. I think it's approximately 3 years ago. We tested out 77 different rifles with 40 different kinds of BBs. And we did that because there were people starting to ask questions about Joule Creep. Hi, XL. What is Joule Creep? Does Joule Creep affect only HPA rifles? Is there any documentation about this? Can we find something about this? And there was not really anything out there. So we decided with the team, 25th Mountaineers, that's the team that's on screen right now, we decided to do a large-scale test about this. So we asked our friends if they wanted to join in, and a lot of them did. And we had the chance to test out over 70 rifles. And thanks to those partners, we were able to test out a lot of different BBs and also give prizes to everybody that tested their rifle. What happened, we did a raffle, and everybody that tested one rifle got a ticket to that raffle. So the more rifles you tested, the more tickets you got. And at the end, there was a big table of all sorts of prizes, and those were gifted and sponsored by those people. And I will move this a little bit because you can't see all of them, and I really want to thank those guys, because with the team we don't have a big budget, and those guys really helped us out. We got BBs, we got money, we got prizes, and that made the test possible. So thank you, a big shout out to all the people in this picture for helping us. Besides that, I also want to help out all the I want a shout out to all the people that came in and tested their rifle, because they spent their entire Sunday just shooting through a chrono and having, well, some kind of fun. But yep, they just went in and tested their rifle for the greater good. So is this a little bit clear that what we did and why we did that, or do I need to go a little bit more in detail? I'm gonna wait a little bit because the chat is always a little bit behind.
To be honest, I had to watch like a separate video about Joule Creep to actually know why this test was useful.
Okay, that's a really good topic. I will hold. There it is. I prepared stuff on another screen. No, it's the same screen, but it's just another window. So what is Joule Creep?
But maybe it's just me, of course.
Well, what is causing the Joule Creep? I see Wim also asking the question in chat, so I will just go over what is Joule Creep. Joule Creep happens when you shoot your rifle with some kind of BB and you change the weight of your BB, and your rifle is doing something weird and increasing that joule. And what is joule? Joule is the impact energy that is left when you shoot your rifle at a person, and the impact energy that is left on the BB and impact the target. That is the impact energy, and that is the joules. And why are we measuring in joules and instead of FPS? FPS is a speed, and with the speed, you can't measure an impact. The speed will change the heavier the BB is, but the impact will also change. So if we switch to joules, we don't measure in speed anymore, but we calculate the impact of an object to the body or any target. But what we basically did, and that's something I also explained a little bit in the video. I didn't went in full detail about Joule Creep. Yes, Nightwing, that's exactly that's what Joule Creep is, but I was just I'm gonna come to that. But I didn't think about that maybe joules and FPS is also something that people might don't know, and why we test this and how the meters work. So what you basically do when you start measuring stuff, you have your chronograph, and your chronograph has two points of measuring thing, and they have a fixed distance. So if you shoot a BB, I'm gonna switch colors so it's a little bit. If you shoot your BB through the chronograph, it will pass this one, and this will have a time. And if you have the distance, that's S, you can know and you can measure, or you can calculate, or the device will calculate for you how fast that BB is traveling through your meter. Now, it's the only thing that you can measure. You can only measure the speed of your BB. There is no meter that can measure the joule or the impact of a BB. If you have something, or you know something that exists, let me know, because we didn't find anything, that was reliable enough to shoot at it and give us a right measurement. Now, if we test this, back in the days, there was no problem. Everybody was using the 0.20 gram BBs, or if you were crazy, you were using the 0.25s. But everybody used 0.20 BBs. So there was a certain value that was agreed on, and that was 350 FPS. But basically what we did, we just put down a benchmark, and that 350 FPS, that is 1.14 joules, measured with 0.20 gram BBs. Because everybody was using that. But now later, years and years later, people started using heavier and heavier BBs, because I have seen people using 0.36 in assault rifles, even 0.40. And what that does to your rifle, that depends on your rifle. And that is what the Joule Creep is. The Joule Creep will change the way your impact energy changes if you choose to take a different BB weight and shoot it. And the problem was that we tested during the days and before the events, we tested with 0.20 gram BBs on the how do you say that in English? The FPS test or whatever. If you want to go to a game, you have to test your rifle to see if it's within the limit. And what happened was that people were testing with 0.20 gram BBs, and they were shooting 350 FPS. So that was 1.14 joules. But when they started shooting 0.36 BBs, suddenly the speed of the BB went up, and also the joule value went up. If you calculated that all the way back, I don't know if that makes a little bit sense. And with the data that I'm going to show you, you will see how a rifle will react to some kind of BB, and what type of rifle, the barrel, the cylinder, how much air is in the cylinder. Everything has an effect on how your rifle will change if you shoot a heavier BB. I think, was that a little bit clear?
Completely.
Yes.
Okay. Damn.
But my question was, what is causing the Joule Creep?
I will take off my sweater. It's too hot. Already. Damn. Hold on. I'll be back. I'm still here. But more things will come clear once we see the data. Don't fall in the dog hair. Just stay up here. Right. Okay. A lot of moaning. Okay, Wim, what was your question?
My question was, what system is behind the Joule Creep? And I mean, what is causing the Joule Creep?
That is something that I hope I hoped that with the data that we were going to collect, that was going to get clearer. But unfortunately, I don't know. There are a few things that have an option to make it like your BB go faster if it's heavier. One of the theories is if you have a longer barrel and you use some kind of system. Hold on, I will draw this down. I will make a new. That might be a little bit easier to follow what I'm saying. What did I do? Okay, I'm just gonna make it wide. Wide. No, that's not wide. Computer is slow.
Sorry to disturb you again, but is that really how it is? Like, for the moment, nobody really knows what is causing the Joule creep?
We know that there are a few things that can cause the Joule creep. And because it's not the BB itself that causes it, it's the system behind the BB that is causing this. If it was the BB by itself causing the problem, it would be affecting every type of rifle that you're using. But because it's affecting only some types of airsoft rifles, it's not the BB, it's the thing that shoots the BB. And one
That
of
sounds very logical.
yeah, and one of the reasons, one of the explanations about this is, where is my thingy? There it is. Nope. If you have a barrel of a rifle, and there is a BB inside of the barrel, and the BB travels some time in your barrel. I don't know if I don't know. Like let's say it takes 4 seconds to get the BB out of the rifle. It's not true, but it's just to get. If I say 1.0 or whatever, it's really hard to understand. But let's just say that it takes 4 seconds for the BB to get out of the barrel of the rifle if we're using a 0.20 gram BB. In some systems like an AEG, you have some amount of air in your cylinder. So what happens is that your cylinder will like hit and it will move forward, and that amount of air will be used to send that BB flying forward, and that's it. Then it stops. But there are systems that keep pushing the BB as long as it is in the barrel, or it will release more air. How can I must think how can I learn that I don't miss out. If we use a lighter BB, it will be not as long in the lighter BB will not be as long in the barrel as a heavier BB, because the heavier BB moves slower. For example, if we use a point, I'm going to use a different color. For example, if you're going to use, that's not a different color. If we use a 0.40 gram BB, that will take 4.5 seconds for the BB to be out of the barrel. So that means if you have a constant energy source providing energy to that BB will have 0.5 seconds longer acceleration in the barrel. That is one of the explanations on why a BB travels has a bigger impact.
So the more air volume you have, the more Joule creep you will have.
Yes, but if you then go back to a shorter barrel, that will also impact, because the travel time will be shortened by half. So the amount of Joule creep will also be affected by the barrel length. And you can send, I don't know, make it in units. If we send 100 units of energy forward, but you only have room for 50, you can only power the BB for 50 units, the 50 extra units are useless, if that makes sense. I don't know.
But
yeah, go ahead.
To put a cliche out there, before we look at the data, and I have to be honest, I already looked at it once. HPA is like a system where you would expect to have a lot of air overflow. So an HPA system with a very long barrel, you would expect a lot of Joule creep, and like a pistol, you would expect almost no Joule creep because it has a very short barrel or something like that.
That would be indeed, but you have already seen the data. But if I explaining this like this, it would say that every long barrel rifle that has a power source that it makes, that gives you more energy, that gives you energy enough to power that heavier BB, it will have bigger Joule creep. And while I'm explaining this right now, I'm thinking that maybe I can. I was thinking of a way to explaining this. I was trying to find a way. I will answer your question in a second, Nightwing. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah. Like if you have a rifle that only have, like for the 4 seconds, it uses 100 units of energy and 100 units of air. I don't know how to give a unit of air. It's in cc's, I think, or it's in liters or milliliters or whatever.
It's pure volume.
Yeah, so it's square centimeter. No, it's cubic centimeters or cubic.
Yeah.
We call it units. All right, it's easy. Everybody will understand that. This is 100 air units. But if it takes 4.5 seconds for the BB to get out of the barrel, it will stop giving energy like at this point in your barrel. So it should not affect it anymore, because the amount of energy given to the BB is the same amount of energy that is given to any other BB. But if you have 150 units of air and you have some extra air left to cover that 4.5 seconds, you should be able to give that 0.5 seconds energy to that BB. So that will increase the Joule creep. Hold on, I have to go to my chat a little bit. Where is it? So I got a question from Nightwing, and if the barrel diameter also takes part in it. We try to like put it in the data, and that's why I want to do this test again with even more data and even more prep, because a lot of the people that came in and test their rifles didn't know what barrel was inside. So you will see. I will bring the data up. That might be easier. Those are all the rifles that we tested. I don't know if this is readable or if I need to increase it a little bit. I don't know how the stream will affect the data stuff. So let me know if it's not clear. I will enlarge it a little bit. Where is the barrel? In this column, yes, we put down the barrel's length and the diameters of the barrel if they knew it. But a lot of people didn't knew the diameter. Oh my god, the thickness of their barrel. So that would be a really cool parameter to test again and see how the extra space between the BB affects the Joule creep or just the Joule of your rifle. You don't need to test it with 100 different rifles. You can test this with one rifle and just change out the barrels and see how it reacts to that one variable that changes. I hope that was an answer to your question, Nightwing. Let me see. You mean inertia makes a heavier BB speed up slower, thus it will be longer in the barrel. Yeah, for some reason, because it's heavier, so it will take longer to accelerate. So the time, I'm talking about this question. So the time that the BB is in the barrel will be longer.
A bigger energy transfer with a heavier BB.
Say again, Wim?
You will have a bigger energy transfer when you're shooting with a bigger, heavier BB.
Yeah.
If you have enough air volume pushing the BB.
Exactly. And that is why HPA is easier, because you have an unlimited supply of air that you can give to one shot. Well, it's not unlimited because you have a tank, but for every shot you have more volume that you can give than the one piston that the normal AEGs have. Jasper, there is more pressure behind the BB as a heavier BB is stuck in the barrel longer behind the bucking. Yes. Wait, you say... So Jasper, do you mean that if you have your knob and your BB is... hold on, I'm going to draw it so we understand each other. We'll make it... Take the hammer, make it bigger. Whoa, god damn it. I'm doing it wrong, I'm doing it wrong. Okay, we'll make a new layer. I'm not a Photoshop wizard. Why is this not show? Okay, this is not doing right. I think I know why it's not doing right. I'll have to do it like this. I'm just trying to sort out the Photoshop stuff because otherwise I have to make a new layer every time. Okay, so I think it should be working right now. Okay, I'm gonna switch to green. So we have our bucking and we got our BB here. And then we got the barrel. Or nub, I don't know. And this is the BB. This is the barrel. Lighter BBs and less pressure to move through the bucking. And this is your hop up. So what Jasper is saying, and this is also just, I think this is just another theory on why the BB is taking more energy. Hi there, how are you doing? And good evening. So because the barrel needs to, this BB needs energy to move forward, and because this is holding the BB back, this is your hop up, a hop up. There will be a bigger energy build-up in this thing before the BB is getting shot out. So this is what Jasper is saying, I think. If I'm wrong, you can correct me, and if you want to explain this, you can also jump into the voice chat on Discord, and that might be a little bit easier. Philip, the HPA system also are different in terms the Minecraft system, for example, runs with more Joule than Pro. Yes, Nightwing. That was something that I also wanted to say, that not every HPA system uses the same system to push a BB forward, and that makes it even harder to explain everything. Yes, Jasper, I know who you are, but you can still join in on the Discord. Because it might be easier to just explain it a little bit. But if you want to stay in the chat and explain that, and if you say that I say it correctly, you can also just say it in the chat. If you think I made a mistake by explaining it like this, also let me know. So yeah, if you got different HPA systems, and it's not that everybody that has a tank on his back will Joule Creep automatically. So that's it. It's not easy. I think I answered all the question. Lighter BBs need less pressure to be moved through the bucking. That I think I just explained on in green. Nightwing.
I think the bucking will be not a bigger factor at all, because the friction doesn't change.
Well, I don't know. Will it affect it? Because is the build-up energy the same? Because where is my thingy to draw?
I should have paid better attention during physics classes.
Yeah, I sometimes I have the same feeling when I'm talking about this, and there are so many things going around about this that it's really hard to find the right answer to your question, because there are so many variables on airsoft rifles. So what was I going to say is that if the buildup of energy is in this point, there is no energy leaking out on the side of the barrel, because your BB is stuck on your nub, right? But if the BB is already moving forward, so a lighter BB will move forward a little bit faster because there is not as much energy needed to move the BB forward, that will mean that less energy will be flowing around the BB. So that's also something that can happen. But
Yeah.
is it? I don't know. That's why we tried to test it out practical, because there are
Yeah, but the friction between the bucking and the BB doesn't change.
true, but you still have your weight of your BB. That is
Yeah, but that's not your bucking who is causing it. That's the inertia of the BB.
true. That's true.
But it's a good thing to test.
Like you got it. So it is something like this, right?
Yeah.
And this is giving friction to the BB, and this will move on the side when the BB is passing. So this friction here is the same for a lighter or a heavier BB. And then we got something else, because not every BB with the same weight is the same diameter. You got BBs that are 5.95 or something, and you got, yeah, they also changed a little bit. So that's why it's hard.
Yeah.
And that's why the conclusion at the end of this thing is for me is an important one, because there are so many different variables. Let me think if I missed something in the chat. I think friction will affect, but it will be so small that it will be neglectable. All right. It needs more energy to be lifted. It's heavier. But will it be lifted? Will your BB be lifted? Because it's heavy. Your BB is moving forward. So the only energy that changes is the friction here, right? Because your BB is heavier, so there will be a little bit more friction here. But the friction here should be the same for a lighter or a heavier BB.
If the BB has the same diameter,
Yeah.
the friction will be the same.
Up top or down?
Everywhere.
At both sides.
Yeah. So the same. So the sizes of all the different weight BBs are all the same. So the friction for all the different weight BBs are all the same. The friction is the same. Maybe between different brands, of course, that could be different. That's also something you've tested, right?
Yeah, we tested different brands with the same weight. So let's go to the data. I think maybe that's a good idea to just hop over to the data. Nightway, thank you for dropping by. Thank you, and I will say hi to Lisa. Axel, thank you also for dropping in, and have fun in Minecraft. Okay, so I'm going to.
And I was thinking as well that we don't really need to understand all the physics to be looking at the data, right?
Nope. That's true, but it's really interesting to talk about the possible reasons behind it, and that's why we need to do more tests, and hopefully with people around the world we can try to find people that want to test some things out and share that data. So let's go to the data. So if this is not readable, just let me know so I can enlarge it or make it smaller or bigger.
That's good.
Okay. So this tab, that's the third tab, is every rifle that we tested. And we tested a lot of different things. We tested DMRs, pistols, revolvers, rifles, shotgun, SMGs, snipers, and we didn't test any blanks. That's because there are not filled in spaces. Just so you don't, we didn't test blanks. And we want to know what brand it was because we wanted as much data as possible. So the more data we have, the more we can sort things out and maybe find a connection between different things. We had the type of gearbox, so we know if it was for example, ICS uses the split gearbox. Does that react different to a normal version 2 gearbox? We don't know. We wanted to test it out. What hop up unit was in there? Did they change anything? Was it flat hop? Was it R hop? Was it the normal one? I don't know that much about hop ups and all that stuff, but the type of hop up might have changed. Was it the hard one, the soft one? Then also the type of motor, how fast was it spinning? Was there something special about it? Then also the cylinder, because as we talked about, the amount of air that is pushing the BB forward is really important in that story. And that was really a hard one because a lot of people didn't know what cylinder was in their rifle. I don't even know what cylinder is in my rifle. I have a standard one, so I don't know. Then also the length of the barrel, that was a little bit easier because we could just measure it, or almost measure it. Then the diameter of the barrel, I have put them in Kele. I will have to drink something. Then the type of battery, because the type of battery will also determine how fast your motor is moving. Then the voltage, also the speed and the trigger response. The capacity of the battery, I don't think that will have any change on the measurements, but we just wanted it in there. Then we wanted to know what powered the BB, no, the rifle, and that was battery powered, gas powered, HPA, or just spring, and also the type of magazine that was used. I don't know if it changed anything, but we have it in there. And then for the HPA guys, we wanted to know what pressure they use. Like, what is the pressure they use? Is it in bars, or is it in PSA, or I don't know.
I believe it will be bar.
Bar, okay. Because I don't see any. Okay, I don't know if we. Oh, I think it's here somewhere. PSI. Okay, we have it in PSI. It was hidden. And then also the types of gas that were used in the pistols or the gas blowback rifles, because we also tested those one. Thank you, Jasper. Yes, PSI. Blue gas, green gas. I don't think we used red gas because it was, I don't know, even it was summer or something. So this is all the rifles that we have the data of. We have, like I said, we have 78 different rifles. So maybe before I go to this data, the first stage that we had set up, that was built to measure the Joule Creep of the different BB weights on every rifle. So we tried to test every rifle on this one, and we tested 78 different rifles. So we tested, we didn't test all of them, or some have malfunctions or broke down during the test, but we tested a lot of rifles because this was the main test. And what we did was we shot 3 times with a point. Damn, did I click it? Yes, I clicked it. Okay, I didn't click it. With a 0.20 gram BB, with a 0.23 gram BB, 0.25, 28, 30, 32, 33, 36, 43, and 46. And every rifle or pistol shot 3 times. We wrote it down. We had an average. That's let's take the top line. That's the average of 3 or 4 FPS, because that's the thing you measure if it's coming out of the FPS meter. Then I calculated that in joules for the BB weight, and then we also have an average, and this is the value that we will be using in the next tables. So we did that for all the rifles and for all the different kind of BBs. So then I'm going to these the next tab, and that is we also have a graph, because this is only using the average values of the shots that were done. The really weird ones, we just didn't test it, or we didn't leave it in there, because sometimes we had a really weird measurement that was just like a double feed or whatever. We just scratched that. Also, all the data is available. I will link it. I think it's in the description of this video, or I will link it in the description of the video, so you can just download it and check it out and play with it as you want and as you see fit. If you screw it up, you can ask me again, or you can download it again. It will be on there for a long time. But this is just showing graphs and showing data. You can do a lot of stuff with it. Then the next one is where you can play around with it. But this one is also not the most, if you look at the graph, it's not representable. Is that an English word? Yes, I don't know. Because the BBs are jumping from 20 to 23. Thank you, Toothless. So the links are in the description of this video. So if you want to play around and just open them up while we are having this conversation, just open them up and play around with it while we're talking. So I was saying that this is not the right representation because the BBs are jumping from 20 to 23, 25, 28. So this is not +1 every time. And with the next graph, I just filled in some blank spaces. So if you look at the graphs, they are representable and they have a linear scale. Okay, thank you. It's English. Yes. Thank you for that. And this is the graph and the tab that you want to play around with. For example, this is now showing everything, I think. Let me check. But I will make it a little bit bigger because I don't think that will be readable that well. And you can filter on 3 different things that, in my opinion, are really interesting ones to filter on. And that is the power system that it's using, like gas, battery, HPA, or CO2. The type of rifle or gun that was tested. And then the barrel length, because that's just interesting to compare if you look at the data. And if we, one thing with the type of gun that was used, we also used pistols, revolvers, and the problem with that was that the more they shot, the less energy they got, because everybody that using just a green gas pistol or a green gas revolver knows that, yeah, your gas goes away and the pressure of your gas goes down, what meant that not every shot was as correct as to keep it in the data. But they're in there, so you can see that in some cases the power of that pistol will just go down. But you can filter them out if you don't want to use them. So we're going to filter out the pistols, the revolvers. Shotguns is also a funny one because they sometimes have a weird measurement, but I'm going to keep it in there for now. And if you look at the graphs then you can see that on the left you have the joule value. So the y-axis is the joules and the x-axis is the BB weight. The numbers that you see on the right side of the graph are the numbers of the rifle. So if you want to play around with it and you want to see, oh, what is this pink line with the squares? Then you search the pink line with the squares. That's rifle 7052. Then you go to weapons and you go to 7052. And then you know that this is John's Well VSR-10 sniper, spring powered. And then you can see all the data of that rifle. And all those numbers will come back every time. Let me see if the BB numbers are here. No, okay, they're not. Jasper, weird because if it shoots more than 1 BB, messing up the chrono, just insert 1. That is not the... hold on, I'm going to put it up there because that's a really interesting one. If you shoot 1 BB with a shotgun, it will not always be the right amount of energy that is measured with that shotgun, because there is 1 cylinder in your shotgun and it is powering 3 nozzles, like the 3 I'm talking about the 3-shot shotguns. The 1 shot is just a simple spring action like a sniper, it's just 1 BB. But with the 3 shots, and that is a problem for a lot of meters, is that they will not calculate the right speed. So what happened is you have 3 nozzles and they are divided over the 3 BB. So if you only insert one BB, you have 2 holes open. So that means that there is no pressure buildup here, and that will also like screw up the measurement of that 1 shotgun. I tried that, and it's giving weird measurements if you insert 1. Sometimes it's correct, sometimes it's wrong, sometimes it's really wrong. Like I once shot, I think it was 7 joules with my shotgun, and it's usually just 1 or 0.8 or something. So that was really, really weird. So the graph, where did I stop with the graph? Okay, I explained what the data is. I did that. Maybe I'm gonna show you, like, because we were talking about HPA. I'm gonna filter on, put everything on, and I will filter on power systems, and I will put on HPA, only HPA, to see what HPA does on different BB weights. And as you can see, like, I'm not going to go into detail about what system it was, but you can see that with a 0.20 gram BB, it shoots 1 joules, and if you put in a 0.44, it shoots 1.1 joules or something. That means that's an increase of 10%. Am I correct? Is my math correct? But after that, it just drops down. And that is really, it's not like it doesn't really make sense sometimes. It goes up and then suddenly it jumps down and then goes up again. So that's it. This is a practical test. We try to test as much as possible, but you can see that most of the HPAs are moving upwards a little bit. And then we got the blue line that is jumping from 1 point, we can see it here, the blue one is 7027, that is jumping from 1.22 joules to 1.53 joules. So that's a big increase. And I know that most of those HPA things that we tested are stock. I know that we didn't test any sniper rifle because they didn't want to test their rifles for some reason. We tested some stock rifles, but we did not test the newer ones because this is 3 years old, and now people are going really insane with the joule values. I have seen snipers that shoot 3.5 joules, and yeah, we didn't test that. This is normal stuff, like nothing extreme, just out of the box sniper rifles or HPA rifles. No, not out of the box sniper rifle, not out of the box HPA rifles, because that doesn't exist then yet. But then let's go to the sniper rifles, the spring ones. And just sniper rifles. You can see that they're doing weird stuff. I have no explanation for this. Like, I really don't. So if anybody has an explanation for this, I would happily have an explanation for this. But for example, the blue cross line 707, I don't know what it does. I'm gonna put it up there. Jasper, I tested my VSR10 Wolverine 2.3 joules with 0.2 and 3.3 joules with 0.4. So yeah. Okay, I didn't check on the HPA thingies if they were long barrels, short barrels, but with HPA sniper rifles, you have a long barrel, you have a lot of energy that you can give to your BB. So that's why, I think it was Sam who said it in the beginning, that you have a bigger Joule creep. So those factors all come together in that one sniper rifle. That's the values that Jasper just sent me. So yeah, this is the test, and you can play around with it. You can do whatever you want with it. You can filter on as many things that you want. If you want to select everything, you just put everything on. If you only want to see AEGs, I think I have another filter on. Yes, here it is. One funny thing is that some SMGs had a really high Joule creep, if I remember correctly. There we go. This is an HPA SMG, and it goes from 1.2, okay, that was the big Joule creep one, to 1.5.
I believe that's the one from Dimitrios.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's an MP7 HPA. No?
What's
Hold on,
it's
it's
a GOG ARP.
Oh, 7027 0727 07. Okay, it's wait. Oh, it's Rob's GNG ARP9 HPA with 80 psi.
Yeah.
So it is an ARP9, and those have like really short barrels.
Yeah, but you get a better filling of the volume of the come on, the inner barrel.
But the amount of time that the BB is in the barrel is really short. But the system that he's using has a really good volume. It fills I think it gives air and up until the BB leaves the barrel, until it's
Yeah.
And if you put this in a longer barrel, it will like accelerate the BB the whole way down. And this was a short barrel, so imagine what this would do with a longer barrel. And this is what causes problems. Well, problems where people have to be careful with. Connie asked, can the creep be depending on the barrel length? Yes, it can, depending on the system you're using. Got a power-up silencer on my MP5, increases my Joule by 0.3. What do you mean with a power-up silencer? Is it like just where there is also an inner barrel in your silencer that you connected to it and your barrel extend because you connected to each other? Because that's I know if you increase the barrel length, it might automatically just increase your Joule value, but it's not always like that. It can also like decrease your Joule value. If you don't have enough energy in your cylinder, it doesn't really matter if you make a longer barrel. It would just increase more friction and your BB will come out slower. Okay, so the barrel extends, so then it might be normal, and if you have enough energy in your barrel, in your cylinder left, it's normal that your Joule value increases. Where were we? Okay, we were talking about, no, where is it? This one. That is the SMG class. For example, this one, the 7064. I don't know which one it is. 7064.
It's a Thompson.
Yep, that's our Tokyomari Thompson, and that's an AEG. And there you can see it just drops. Like, in my opinion, it has enough energy to power, I think a 0.33 gram BB, but then it just doesn't have the energy to push out the heavier BBs. Okay, I'm gonna the chat. Or alternatively, does the air escape fast enough? That's a really good question. So we got a question from Connie that is asking, no, it's not that one. How much back pressure is there on a longer barrel? What he means is, because his next question explains it a little bit more, or alternative, does the air escape fast enough? What means that if you have a build-up pressure and your BB is stuck in your barrel, that energy of your air wants to go somewhere. But if your BB is not getting out enough or fast enough, what's going on with the energy that is left in the cylinder? And I don't have an answer for that. And I think
That's the air sealer.
But the air, that would mean that the heavier BB you have, your air seal must be like so great, otherwise you will just lose all your energy through your air seals, right?
Yeah.
Huh. Really interesting. And
like with the Thompson, it's an older gun if I recall.
Yeah, 20 years.
The air seal gonna be less. So if you put in a heavier BB, you have to push harder to move that BB. So you lose more air through your air seal.
So you lose energy because you're you lose energy because you're using a heavier BB, And because you're using a heavier BB, it's longer in your barrel, and there is air escaping through your air seals.
If your air seal is starting to leak.
Yeah. But at some point your air seal will lose air because... But I don't think the pressure is that big. I don't know. I don't know if there are like snipers in here that have a lot of experience with upgrading their sniper rifles to increase their air seal and have crazy joule values. That would be really interesting because they really need to like upgrade the parts that are on the other side and have that air seal really tight. I'm reading the chat a little bit. Jasper, can you send a link of a power-up silencer? What the heck is that? I think Sam he will send you a link. But it's basically your barrel ends, the inner barrel ends on the top of your rifle, and your silencer has also an inner barrel in the silencer. So if you connect them, you extend the barrel through the connection of your silencer.
Okay.
But there are not that many systems out there that have that because it's really hard to align it, and it's also really hard to keep it as tight as possible and don't have any
I just did the classic thing, like putting a longer inner barrel and then hiding it with a silencer over it.
Yeah, but the problem is if you disconnect it, you still have your shorter rifle. But if you have to deselect or remove your silencer, you have your barrel sticking out.
Yeah. Okay.
Clear. Like I know that the MP9, I think, that it's not an extended silencer. It has a silencer, but it's not an extended barrel. But if you put on the silencer, it also gives you more joules. And there is no barrel inside. It's just magic? I don't know.
That's interesting.
And that's something that people went... we saw that and people said, yeah, you just have to go to the Joule test or FPS test and remove your silencer. You will shoot... You will chrono okay, and then if you put it on, you will increase your value. So there are a lot of ways of... Hi Bart, hi, how you doing? There are a lot of ways to fool the chrono. So yeah, I will come to that later. Are there any more questions about this tab or this 4 tabs? But the important one is the 4th one on stage 1, and that is the stage 1 joules in function of average value in function of, and that's linear. That's the one you have to work with. Sam, you got a link. Captain Toothless send you a link on Discord. And a heavyweight piston. Tallies where we always have 100% air seal. Can you have a 100% air seal? Can you?
Yes, if you put like a cork on the front of your rifle.
But there will also be some leaking because they are moving parts, so you will also have some air loss somewhere, right? Depending on the pressure you put on it.
Well, actually, already, if you use a magazine to feed BBs, already that hole will lose air.
Yes, but that's after the buildup of energy in your cylinder.
Well, the BB has to be put into the system somewhere just before the bucking, so where the BB is going in, there is also air coming out.
No.
Hold on.
The air is coming out of the nozzle.
Yeah. But there will always be a bit loss of air, no?
So you got your nozzle and everything that is behind the nozzle, that is your cylinder. And there is something moving inside. Like this. And this has some O-rings. And your BB is here. And you got your barrel here. And you got your hop up here. And what you say is that you will lose air here. Because this is your magazine. and there is a little opening here where air will go away. That's what you say, right?
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, but I think I already understand why I'm wrong. But keep explaining.
And what people are saying in the chat is that the air seals here and here, I think, because there is something moving. Wait, now I have to think how I have to draw this. There is something inside this, right? And then this is moving forward and backwards. And there is, you can lose air here. And if this seal is not good enough, you don't have it's not pressing air, and air will go between your cylinder, right? So there's a lot of points of where air can get out. No. Yes, no.
No, he's talking about the hole where the BBs are feed in front of the nozzle.
In front of the nozzle. What's the Discord? Is it still in my copy paste? Yes, it is. Okay, Jasper is going to join the Discord so he can explain a little bit, because that's why I like to have this Discord thing, because if people are having written text is not always that easy, and if you have it, like if people come into the chat, they can just like, and then you can say, oh, like that.
Come on, Jasper, explain me like I'm 5.
He's not here yet. I think he's joining the Discord. Let me check.
He's not in the Discord yet.
No. Come on, boy. Come on, boy.
But so, Wim, do I understand correctly that actually your nozzle is moving back and forth, and so it pushes the BB first a bit into the cylinder and then releases the air, and so there is no loss of air into the magazine, like?
Yeah.
Okay. Seems logical.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah. Yes. This thing goes forward and does this, right? And then your BB is here.
Rob, how long are you playing Airsoft?
Well, actually, that's
Hi,
the thing with
John.
Airsoft. But that's the thing with Airsoft. You don't really need to understand how your mechanics are working to play it. Like,
I know there is like, and the BB comes out. Hi, John. Because the nozzle pushes the BB into the barrel and creates a seal with the bucking. Yes. It comes all back to me now. Like, there are a lot of things that are, and this is why the Joule Creep thing is hard, because you need almost every little bit of thing that is going on in Airsoft. You need it to explain everything. Hi, John. And thank you for that, because yeah, I totally forgot about that, because if you look into your AEG, if you turn it around, you can see your nozzle moving and closing it down. So yeah, it totally makes sense. So yeah, stupid me.
stupid me too, eh?
Yes, stupid you. I will, all right. So we have a new page. Is Jasper already in? Okay, I opened my Epic Games for some reason. Yeah, I want to go a little bit sidetracked on this one. The people that have been playing for a while know that Tokyo has some weird hop-up systems, and like the Thompson is shooting crazy far. Like for that barrel, it's so damn, it's crazy. People are always saying like, how is this possible? And you're only using like 280 FPS. That's 0.8 joules or 0.9 joules or something like that. But that's amazing, and nobody knows how it is, because it's a normal hop-up thingy, but once you open it up, the magic goes away. It's like there is fairy dust in it, and if you open it up, it just poof, it disappears. There is something else like the M14 of Tokyo. That one has an crazy range, and it just has a normal hop-up, but once you open it up, magic gone. So I think maybe the people that have been playing with Tokyo know what I'm talking about. It's weird. And we went off the side a little bit. Exactly, Wim. I'm gonna highlight that because that's really true. Airsoft flagging is hard. The devil is in the details, and that is so true. And that's why I suggest, if you are getting into airsoft and you want to start tagging on rifles, always make sure that you have one working rifle, because the one that you will be needing for that next day will be on your bench because you have a problem with it. And if you like tagging, and just always make sure that you have one working one. Don't start working on your first one. Like, always make sure you have a backup. Or have friends that have backups. Okay, so there are no more questions about the first stage that we did. So we did yes, that's why I bought a second one. Yes, you only have 2, right, Wim? Only 2. So the first stage was testing out as many rifles as possible to see what they did with heavier BBs. No worries, Jasper. No worries. We can pick in back if you join in on the Discord. We can just move back to the part where you want to explain it. Okay, I'm on my phone. Doesn't let me. And a third, and yes, toothless. Yes. So yeah, if you join in the Discord and it's happening in the Discord, just say hi, and we will move back to that subject. So this was the first stage. That was the biggest one. And I'm trying to find the right tabs to open on my right screen so I can see what's happening, so I can highlight the messages, and I have the Discord open. Right, so you can play around with all the values. I'm gonna put it back on. Maybe I'm gonna show you one more. That's the shotgun, and this is what I meant with it's doing weird stuff, and I have no idea why. I really don't know. And for some reason, it was also always on the 0.32 gram BB that things were going wrong. I really don't know what happened with that BB, because I don't know which one we used. I don't know, maybe.
Was it another brand?
Yeah, I can check out the brand in BB's data. It was the Vulcan. It was a Vulcan 0.32 gram BB that we used.
Because that's indeed a very interesting graph.
This one. We can go back to the base data. We can just pick one shotgun that is doing a weird thing. That's the orange. Well, orange, light orange with triangles. That's the 7062. 7062. Okay. That makes it even weirder because it's a one-shot shotgun. Okay. I have no idea. That's really weird. And it might be that the color was different from the BB, that it but I think we all used white ones on that stage, because in one of the stages we tested the color of the BB, if it has a connection to if the meter is picking it up or not. So this is why practical tests are really important. Sometimes you can't explain it and you want to explain it, so you have to do some more tests. But I don't have that much time left. I only have 2 hands. I want to do this full time, whatever. Just, I can't. Okay, I can't. I want to do it, but I can't. I want to do more tests, but this is the test that we did, and we have to make do with it. But goes past that part, so there is no loss. Your bucking makes the perfect shield. Yes, Jasper. We know that now. So yes, let's continue to the next stage. If there are no more questions about this one, I'm gonna reset it back to everything. like I said, you can play around with all the data. You just download it and you can play around with it. And on the Discord, we have the, can I open up the Discord? Yes. Like if you go to the LiveStream open Discord channel, wait, is it behind? And you go to the Joule versus FPS massive data test. That's because this was called like this. We already talked about this a little bit, and you can also join in after the event. For example, the types of airsoft, that was the first live stream that I did, is still in there, so we can still discuss things, because it's really interesting to discuss those things even after the live stream, because some people will see the live stream later and then they can just jump in there. And I think somebody just joined the Discord. Oh, it's another team member of Sam that is breathing loudly. Okay, the next stage. I'm opening my tabs again so I know that everything is still going right. I'm on Discord as DD Sniper. Did you find your way to our Discord, Jasper? I'm gonna drink a little bit because I have been talking a lot.
Hi, Angelo.
Hey,
if you go down on the last voice channel, you have the live stream where we all sitting.
That was to Jasper, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So let's jump into the next stage, and that was the BB weights. And what we did there, what did we do there? Okay. Sometimes I have to think what we did, because we did a lot. This is the raw data, and we tested the same BB weight from different brands. So for example, we have, I'm gonna take the list of BB brands with me. They all have a number, like this is 202, 204, 201, 203. And if you want to know what number represents what BB, you can go to the data tab. That's the second to last tab at the bottom. You can see that every BB has a number. The first test was done. The first BB is 101, 102, 103, 104. And as you can see, we try to use as quality BBs as possible. With the second test, we didn't really care. We just found any crap we can find and we put it in the barrels that people, if they don't want to use it, that was fine. But I had plenty of rifles with me, so to test it out. For example, we tested, was it in there? I don't even know. No, I don't even know if we tested it. Doesn't matter. Like there's a number besides the BB, and on the other side you have the weight, 20, 25, up to 43. And this is the number you can find on top of the graph here, BB 201, and also at the bottom of this graph you can find the numbers. So the first tab is everything shot with the 0.20 gram BB. One line is one rifle. You can see it on the right. That's the number of the rifle. And then you can see how the rifle reacted to that BB. And you can see that most of the measurements are okay. There is not something that really stands out, like this BB is doing weird stuff, except one, like the 205 is doing some weird stuff for 3 or 4 different rifles. And then you can filter this out and you can see what the reason is, what variable is different on those rifles that affecting those BBs. Is it the barrel? Is it the color of the BB? I'm not going to like go over everything and like spit everything out. You can do that by yourself if you want to do that. But this is how the rifles reacted to the 0.20 gram BB. And we had most of those, so that's why we have a lot of we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, wait, 2, 4, 6, 8. We got 9 different types of 0.20 gram BBs. And then we did the same thing with 0.25, and you can see there is a difference. This is okay. This is weird. We even have more 0.25 gram BBs to test. And then you can see like, I think is it this one, the 210? And then you can check out the BB 210. This is the HIDD BB. And this BB was really old. So that might be the reason why it has it shows really weird on tests. Like this one is going over, it's all over the place. It's going down, it's up, it's down, it's up. And this is interesting to see how a BB of a different brand with the same weight reacts. And then you can check out the BB. I don't think we did it, like measure the BB, how high it is, or the diameter of the BB, or exactly measure the BB in weight. Is it exactly 0.20 or is it 0.2001 or whatever? And we didn't do that. And that's something that I'm missing in the tests. So that would be cool to have another test and have all that data about that BB that you're testing. And then with the 0.28s, we had 5 different kinds, and there is not that much difference. There is like the 104 is a little bit doing weird stuff. Then with the 0.3s, that was like really, really okay. That was really well. Like this thing, the 7077, it could be that this is a pistol that is tested with this this BB, and that's why the energy is going down. That might be a reason. So we can check that. 7077. I hope it is a pistol. 70, what was it? 77. Oh, it's a Springer pistol. That's weird. It might be that it just died during the test. So that is the then we did the same thing with 0.36, and this is an interesting one, because you can see that if we're testing with, okay, you cannot see it, I'm gonna move it up a little bit, with the 217 BB, every shot that is done is higher than the 108 BB, but they are the same weight. Like you can see, like it's almost, you almost can't see it, but on the green line you can see that it's over the 200 FPS, and on the right it is below the 200 FPS line. So that means that every like that BB, those BBs are giving you less energy. And is it because they're smaller? Is it because they are slightly lighter or heavier? We don't have that data, so I'm really missing that data to give you a right answer and explain you what is going on here. But that's interesting, because it's the same weight, but it's dropping, let us say, how much would it drop? 10, 15 FPS with the same weight? Yeah, don't look at the 7077. That's just, no. Like, it's doing weird stuff every time, so I don't know. Don't look at that one. And then we did the same thing with the 0.43, and there we got it's the other way around. So yeah, it definitely changes. If you use a different BB with the same weight, your rifle will react to it. And that's it, because you only had one of the 4.6, so we couldn't compare it. So this is also a really interesting. It's nothing Joule Creep, but it will help organizers. It will help you to explain to people what is going on if you use a different type of BB. And that will also bring me to the conclusion at the end. I'm not, yeah.
Maybe with the next test we should wait and measure the BBs.
Yeah, like try to get all the BBs and then do a test with it, like measure 100 BBs in weight to see what's the average weight of it, then measure one, and then measure the diameter and see. Yeah, just have more basic data like we did with the guns. We don't have that with the BBs. We just have what is on the package of that BB. And you're totally right. We should do that. Righty.
Shot in my own foot, but yeah.
What? Yeah. It will give us a lot more work now. But yeah, hopefully we can do a test like this again, and that's one of the reasons why I like having this channel. I can use this channel to reach out to people, and yeah, come in and hopefully I can talk to some brands to sponsor another raffle or whatever. Yeah, just try to do something to encourage people to test their rifle in the same way that we did, because the setup of this was really good, but we can learn and do it again. So maybe in the future, not the near future, in the future, we can do this again. So this is the second stage that we did. Are there any questions about this stage? Or things that you want to talk about or whatever? Just in the chat, or for the people that are in the chat or in the voice chat on Discord, you know what to do. I'm gonna wait a few more seconds.
For me, you can continue.
Okay, I can continue.
Let's continue, please.
Well,
No, I'm good. Okay, I got it. The next stage that we did was we tested 5 different FPS testers, and I know they're not in here. The brands are not in here. I will have to add them. For some reason, I forgot to do that, and every time I see this test, I constantly say like, I forgot to add it again. But I will put it in there, or I will make a list of all the different testers that we used. And why did we did that? Because a lot of airsofters complain that I tested this at home and I have this meter and I have a different measurement than I have on site. So you're wrong, my thing is right. So we wanted to test 5 different rifles, testing with the same different BBs and with the same rifle. And we tried different colors to see how the meter would react to the color. Because we had pink ones, we had white ones, and I think we had dark earth or something. But you can see it in the the last tab in the data. Those are the 301, 302, 303, and we had the white, we had the gray, and we had the pink. That was 20, 25, and 28. This is the raw data again. Every time the first tab is the data that we measured and we just inputted it, and then the next tabs are the conclusions and how we want to show the data to you guys. And this is how it's shown for the FPS meters. Like we did 3 shots again, and we had an average of that. And then we have a table. At the bottom you have the 5 different FPS testers. On the right you have again the different type of rifles that tested that, and then you can see how the things react. And also here you can play around with it. For example, if you don't want to see the shotguns, because we talked about the shotguns, or I'm going to show you the shotguns. This is what the shotguns did on the FPS meters. Some measured right, some did not. I will show you the next one. I can do it right now. I'm gonna put it on shotgun. Like this was totally flat, so that was no issue at all. Shotgun, there we go. So as you can see, not a lot of testers had problems with shooting 3 BBs at once. That's interesting. Well, yes, they have. Okay, this one has meter 2, and that's why I don't know which meter it was, but it does make a difference. Let's go back to all. We have enough, and here you can play around with it again. You can change it to different powers thingies. You can just filter what you want. If you want to know snipers, you can do that. It's not that a big of an impact here because it doesn't really matter what the BB is doing. That's also why this is in FPS and not in joules, because it doesn't really matter what the joules will do. It's just what your meter will calculate or show you when you shoot through it. Like the first thing that we show with the 2 measurement points, this is what the meter is showing you. And that is BB1, BB2, and BB3. Yes, we have BB8 here also.
Don't start.
So this was a test that I wanted to do because people asked me or asked us to do that. We had the meters available, so we did that. Any questions about this one? This was a simple test. Okay.
Was there like a big variation between FPS meters?
What do you mean by variation? Like,
I don't know, like that one of the FPS meters was like completely measuring big differences compared to the other ones or something?
no, let's go to battery powered rifles. Like this is, for example, those are the 5 different meters. And this is the green line is one gun shooting with the same BB through the 5 meters. So this is not a big difference.
Okay, yeah.
And you have something weird here on this one. That's a 7045. But I just, if you have tests like this, there will also be like something wrong.
Yeah, that's of course logical. Yeah.
And I just think this is something that went wrong on the test. It's only one. Most of them are doing pretty the same. Like, it's not that. Let me see. Like the first one and the third one are almost identical everywhere. And then on the second one is a little bit down. Like I'm looking at the purple one. But the differences are really small. And that's also why in Belgium we have that error margin, because meters will give you a different like detection. That's why it's 350 FPS and not 360, but a lot of people just go to the limit and then they go over it because the meter is having a little error.
Yeah. But so generally speaking, more or less the meter you have at home should be more or less the same as the meter they have at the field.
Yeah, but then you have to also take into account that when you tested, the weather that you tested, the temperature that you tested has all an impact on your rifle. So it might be that you test it in your room at 20 degrees and you go to a field and it's 1 degree and it's raining, that you have a completely different measurement. And it's not because it's different meter, it's because the environment changed. So your rifle is also changing to the environment. It can also be that your rifle was dropped during the trip or whatever. So there are a lot of variables that will change the
biggest variable will be the hop-up rubber.
Yeah.
Or the bucking rubber. Changing.
Temperature changes, and it will be harder, softer. It will change. Yeah. Like this meter, those are the same rifles that have shot through it. No, that's a different BB. Sorry, but the same 5 meters. This is like almost completely flat. So that shows that on the same day with the same BB, with the same variables, with the same all the variables are the same at that point. Only the meter was changed, and they give you a really flat line. So that means that meters are doing the same thing like constantly. And yes, there can be a lemon in it, but then that will be filtered out really fast if the organizers see that, because they mostly have different meters. And you can just, if you think that something is wrong with their meter, just tell them and they will sort it out. And this data shows that most of the meters are doing a really good job. Any more questions about this stage?
Also take into account that your own meter can be broken.
That's right. Good one, Wim. That's right.
Well, anyway, thank you to answer my questions so clearly.
Okay.
Hey, good evening.
Hi there. Who dis?
And that was Jasper.
Oh yeah, Double Dutch Sniper. Okay. Hi Jasper, welcome to the party. Now I have to open my other screens again because I opened Discord. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna continue to the next one, and that is the fourth stage, and that was the rate of fire. And that was just because we were there and it was easy to test that. And you can see that we didn't test a lot of rifles because sometimes it was hard to measure that rate of fire because you needed 10 shots like rapidly, and sometimes it was not possible. We had feeding issues, and it was also at the end of the day. I think that was the last test that we did, so people were already going home. Rifles broke down during the tests, so that's why we don't have that many tests. But it's a really interesting graph, and it shows that with a 7.4, like the red line is the battery that is used, and the blue line is the rate of fire that the rifle was shooting, and this is in rounds per second. And it's interesting to see that with a 7.4 LiPo battery, you can go up to 13 rounds per second. And then if you go to okay, and this is just, that's an AEP, so that's the 7.21 is a, it's not an AEG, it's an AEP. And then around the 13 with 11.1, the slowest you can go is around 13 rounds per second. Well, we got one weird one here that is shooting 12.5, but it's not, it's around 13. So around 13, this is the max for 7.4. And then if you go over 7.4 volts battery, you can move up to, like here, 22 rounds per second. And then the 25.2, because there is no battery, that means it's an HPA one. And this was funny because a lot of people thought, damn, my rifle is shooting so fast. And we did that because organizers wanted to cap the rate of fire, because people were like moving their or upping or whatever, they were increasing their rate of fire immensely. And people were complaining about a huge rate of they had so high rates of fire that it was getting really dangerous. So people, they asked us to test it also, and that was funny to see that the highest one that we got was 25. And after, I think before the test or just after the test, they capped it at 25 rounds per second. What it was, in my opinion, is still really fast, but it's okay. The problem, if you go over that, your magazines have problems feeding and stuff like that. But this was really interesting. And you can also see that around 50% of all people that tested it, not that many, but still 50% for all the people that tested it, were between 10 to 15 rounds per second. What is, in my opinion, is a really good rate of fire to play airsoft with. So this is just like, has nothing to do with Joule Creep or FPS or whatever. This is a completely different test, but we had everybody there. We had the rifles, we had the meters, so we did this test. And this is the 4th tab, and this is just the rate of fire. So John is saying, I can do 50 rounds with my HPA. I self-limited to 25. HPA can go a lot faster if your magazines can fill it or can feed it. Okay. So this is all the data we have. This is all the data that you can play around with, and the next tab is then the data tab that I already showed you with the BBs. And then the last one is just the form that was given to the players. They had a number for their rifle, and then every stage they filled in the values, and then we had a really thick pack of paper, and then our team just entered it into the computer. So we got this beautiful thingies, and then I just made all the graphs about this, and then we can just play around with it. And now it's out there for everybody. So if anybody has a question about Joules or they want some data about it, you can just send it out there. It's out there for everybody to use. So yeah, just use it if you have a question about it. So yes, I just went over all the data. I'm just checking my schedule. Okay, so we went over all the data. Are there any questions or things that you want to see while I'm doing it? And if not, I will go to 2 more topics that I want to briefly touch, because I don't want to go too much in detail because I think we can do a complete live stream about them. But I just want to briefly take them. And if there are no more questions, we're gonna move on to. Yes.
Can I be annoying with one question?
It's not annoying. I like to have questions, so it's yeah. Go ahead.
Well, there is this there is this idea, I can't find the right English word to say, but this maybe misconception that in my head that the biggest Joule creep is in HPA. Does the data state this as well or not?
I think we can go back to the this graph, and if we pick HPA, I'm gonna make it a little bit slower, smaller, so it's easier. If we go back to HPA, you can see that they are creeping. They're moving, like they're going upwards. So yes, HPA creeps. Let's go to the battery types.
It's just easier to creep with HPA.
Exactly.
But with my normal sniper rifle, spring rifle, I just increase the weight of my piston, and it's even as easy as HPA.
Exactly. You can do a lot of things to increase your Joule value. Like when we did this test, there was nobody really tinkering around with their AEGs to increase the Joule values of their rifle. And this is, most of them are stock or just basically upgraded, like just a barrel, a better hop up. They were not changing the pistons to get a better or a higher Joule value. But these days you can change your Joule value on basically everything. And that's why I want to do this test again. And also I want like the MK23 because that's also really Joule creepy thingy. I want it in there. MP7 I want it in there. And like if we have the AEGs, you can see that some are going up. Like this one is going up rather high, but then drops down again. Depending on the BB that you're using, you can like Joule creep and then you can drop down again. But for HPA, it keeps going up.
The MK23 is the biggest reason, the top-down center mod.
The what?
Top-down center mod. You normally use the pressure from down under, but the top-down center mod puts the pressure from on top of your bucking equally.
Oh yeah, yes, exactly, yeah. That's true. And that's why I want to test it with like a normal one, and yeah, but we need to find people that have it and want to test it, because when we talked about this, no sniper was going to want to test his rifle because they know they Joule creep like hell.
Next time, come to Holland, come to our field, you can test there. I will bring my snipers.
Well, we need more people, and we need a lot of people again. But yeah, I think we will have to plan a new day then in the future. But we keep in touch anyway. So it's a subject that we have been talking on. So we will be talking about it in the future anyways. But this is the data that we can use, and we can learn from the data that we took and make it even better in the future.
We can always do a roadshow.
A what?
A roadshow for a month. Go around in Europe.
Well, the problem with that is that you will you will have extra variables that will not be the same. Like in the shelter, we had one location, everything was the same. But if you go around to different fields, you will have a different setup, and then you cannot compare the data next to each other. So that's why everything needs to be done on the same day with the same BBs, the same temperature, the same humidity. Everything needs to be the same. Also, I didn't mention that, but we didn't change anything about the hop-up systems. Like they were set in the beginning of the day, and they were not changed at all. Why? Because the hop-up is not a variable. If you change it to shoot straight, you will have an extra variable that is pressing on the BB. And now the hop-up was pressing the same way in the entire test. That's one of the questions we got. Like, did you change the hop-up? We did not change the hop-up. Thank you, Jasper. I got Ramirez, is it maybe a theory that HPA creeps better than AG because of the steady, constant airflow in HPA and the most irregular spring-driven airflow? It's one of the reasons that we think that HPA creeps, exactly. But we covered that a little bit in the beginning. But that's one of the theories why HPA can give a longer push of air. Quickly go to the small topics that I want to talk about, and that is the way of testing. And that's something that it's just my personal opinion, and that's something that I have put a lot of thought in. Because the way we test our rifles now, it's not right anymore, because so many things change, and so many things can be changed during the games. People change their weight of BBs. People use different brand of BBs, and that is also, everything will like relying on that one test before the day. That's not reliable anymore, because people use different brands, different weights, different rifles. They will change their air. They will change hoses. They will change. Like, I have an ICS rifle. I can change my cylinder in a few seconds, and I shoot harder. And I still have a Chronote rifle that is according to the test, and it's a good one to play with. So in my opinion, we don't need that anymore. We have to put the responsibility on the player that they know that their rifle is shooting like the right amount of energy. And if they're not sure, the organizer should supply a testing facility so they can test it with the meters of that organization. If you're not sure, just go test it with the BB that you will be shooting at. And it's your responsibility to make sure that your rifle is according the rules of that day. And during the day, the organizer just has to run around and like pick everybody out there and just say, yeah, come here and shoot with your shoot through my meter and test your rifle. And then people say, yes, but people can lie about the weight they're using. And that's totally true. But then you can fix that by just giving the Marshall 3 or 4 different speed loaders with 3 or 4 different weights, and you can pick the one that is closest and see how close it is. And if there is some confusion or something wrong, you can just take that player back, just have a small scale there, weigh the BB up there, and test with that weight of BB. And in my opinion, it's the only way you can make sure that you're testing the people with the rifles that they're shooting with at that moment. Even if something changed during the day, like if you start like -1 and their rifles getting a little bit shot in and they're getting a little bit warmer, their values will go up. So if you go testing at the end of the day, you will have a lot of different values than in the beginning of the day, even if it's raining or whatever. So the only thing that you can do is test at the moment to see if they're shooting over the limit or not. And I really want to, I don't know if we can discuss this here or have a conversation about that, or if we have to do a whole live stream about that. It's something really interesting that I want to talk about. I missed the chat because I was rambling around. Another nice thing is the air volume of the rifle. The air, that's why you should chrome with the weight of the BB you play with. I'm reading this comment, by the way. I'm not using my feature that I had ready for this live stream. What do you mean by another thing is the air volume of the rifle?
If you're looking at the SRS, one of the most used sniper rifles, it has the biggest air volume of all other sniper rifles. And
yes.
That's why it's easier to creep with it.
Because they have that amount of energy that they can give it to the BB.
They can build up more energy than a VSR because it has a smaller air volume. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so it's made for heavier BBs, so it's made to give more energy to that BB.
Yeah, and that's why you should use the BB weight that you play with. You should chrono with that.
Yeah,
like and put it on 2.3 Joule.
Exactly. Well, depending on the limit that you're using in your country. That was also one of the topics that I want to go in about, but that will bring us way too far, and I think we will have to bring this to another live stream, and that is about the minimum engagement distance of your rifle, and that is something that in Sweden they have like the 2020 tables or whatever, tabellen 2020. It's in Swedish, and they take like a value of impact, joule impact, and they calculate what that energy is on a certain distance. And if you have your start value, your base value, for example, 1.2 joules, on what distance do you still have that 1.2 joules if you increase, for example, sniper rifles can shoot 2.3 joules, 2.3 joules. On what distance do you have the 1.2 joules left? And that is the safe distance you can fire your rifle on.
Yeah, that's what we calculated.
Yes.
I've got the measurements of that.
Yep, exactly. And in Sweden they have all the tables. They have like, it's a big thing. I don't think I can send you to that guy. It's Eric, and he has done a lot of stuff with it. I'm talking with him also about joules and FPS about it. So that's also a guy that needs to be included when we talk about this stuff. It's crazy that everybody has done his own research if the research is available. It's good that you do your own tests to test out whatever happened, but you can then compare. You can compare the both tests to see if everything is correct instead of doing it every time the same and just doing the same thing over and over again. And I said the same thing twice. So the minimum engagement distance, that is something that I want to discuss, but I'm not going to go over this right now. I just wanted to explain a little bit about the joules, and I wanted to... Hi, dog. Hey. Want to say hi to the people? You want to say hi to the people? You're on the wrong side. Delta's here. So the thing that I wanted to... Because the testing thing is something that I'm working on, and I had the time to talk about it with you guys because you are here and you're interested in the topic. So that's why I wanted to know your opinion about this. Now, if you... We will be discussing this also in the Discord. So if you want to join in the talks later on, just go to the Discord and we will talk about that. He's behind me now. So John is saying, I require my players chrono with their hop set using their BBs. I don't want or need to know theoretical joules, etc. I need to know what they are running is at or below the joule limit. Let me see if I get that correctly. So you let the people chrono themselves, or do you chrono the people that are on your field? And are you using meters per seconds, or are you using joules? Because at the end you say you don't need to know about theoretical joules. What do you mean by you don't need to know about theoretical joules? What do you mean with theoretical joules? Yes, Jasper, and that's something that John also says, that you need to set your hop. Like I have, when we start playing airsoft, we just tested. Like nobody cared. Nobody was thinking about, oh, if I remove my hop, I test, I have a different value, or if I increase my hop, I will be able to cross the. I will go through the limits, and if I put my hop back on, I will shoot like better or harder or whatever. Yep, and the hop up should be the same, and that's also one of the things that you can change. There are so many things that you can like fool the chrono test in the beginning, and if you have to test 100 people, you will not do it like 100% correct. You're also in a hurry to start that event, like everybody's waiting to start that event, and instead of wasting that time in the beginning of the event, use that time in the middle of your event or at the beginning of your event when everybody's started to play to start testing the people. What did I make super complicated?
I agree.
I made it super complicated?
No, I agree with your opinion about the testing.
Okay.
A little complicated.
My testing? Is
John Mack's question.
Yeah, but did I make it complicated to test it, or was my explanation complicated?
Explanation.
Okay, I'm sorry. My bad.
We know you're up.
Yeah. I try my best. It's in my head. The hard parts of things in my head is to get them out again.
But isn't the difference here that what John is suggesting is that you test with the hop-up setting of the player and their BB weight, and so you only look at the output at that moment, like you are saying as well,
Yeah.
that the weather is also having influence, and that you don't test with a certain BB weight, because then a lot of parameters change anyway.
Yeah, and that it's you can do that if you don't have too many players. But if you want to know the Joule values, you need your chart, or you need somebody that really has a fast calculating head or knows the values that are like with 0.20 it's that, and 0.43 you can shoot this and this and this. You can have like a schedule on there. If you shoot that many FPS, that's the Joule value, and you need to be below that. But in my opinion, the problem if you do it in the beginning, people have the chance to cheat, and they do that. And people and organizers tell me like, yes, but it's still like a reliable thing to do, and you know that every gun is tested at the beginning of the field. Yes, but is that not giving a false like safety feeling to the people that you tested everybody, but as soon as they go into the field, they can just change it up again or just take a different rifle? And that's why I don't want to do it in the beginning. But that's why I want to do it in the middle of the game. And I know some organizers, it's easy. Like if you have a CQB field, you can do it. Everybody's there. You can just run everybody to the tester, and there are 40 people or whatever. That's fine. But if you have 150 players, it's really hard to spot like 2 players that did not go to the test. And if they will be shooting with their gun for a long time before this error is found. For the error is found, and it's the same amount. And if you do the test in the field, and you do more tests, like now sometimes if there's a discussion, they will say, yeah, test this one and test that one. But if they are constantly testing people in the field on different times, you will spot errors and cheaters a lot faster. And I'm missing a lot of the chat. Yeah, I'm gonna clear that. Before every game, players set their hubs at the shooting range, then go to the chrono station, where a chrono officer walks them through the process. Yeah, I that's also a good method, depending on how many people you have on your field, and if you know most people of your field. But you have a lot of new people coming in from everywhere that you have no idea who they are or whatever. Yeah, people try to shoot harder and further and go over that limit. But that's the way you should do it. And if you do it before or after or during, the only thing that's different is that if you do it on the field, the chance that they are cheating or the chance that they are trying to cheat the chrono is a little bit smaller.
And you lose less time before starting the event.
Yeah, because that's also one of the things. If the people that will chrono their rifle will do it correctly. And you're basically punishing the people to go to the chrono if they know their rifle is already shooting right. And the people that want to cheat will cheat anyway. Like they don't care. They will not be going to the chrono, or they will be late, or they will choose a different gun. So it's basically a little bit pointless to do that chrono before the event, because everybody that should be right is doing it right. And once in a while, people will be like, yeah, I don't know how hard my rifle shoots. There is a chrono. Use it, test it.
Well, in current Belgian situation, that's quite a strong statement, I guess.
What do you mean?
Well, suggesting that chronoing before an event is a bit pointless.
Well, I have been talking to a lot of organizers, and a lot of fields already do that now. Like we're running a test to see how well this is going. And I know some locations don't do the tests anymore before the event, but only testing during the events. Some do it, still do it. Other ones just switched over to the new testing stage. And then we will see what is working, where are the flaws, where we can change stuff. And I know there are more people talking about that anyway. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation, because I have my IDs, but that doesn't mean that my IDs are correct. Hold on, I'm gonna faster read on John because they're talking and I don't want to miss it. Their BBs means you trust them on their blue eyes, that the weight is what they're saying. The player informs the chrono officer what weight they're using, and the chrono officer has a chart that has FPS limits for each plausible weight. Yes, that's correct. If they are lying about BB weight, then there's a problem. But yes, how are you going to know that they're lying about the BB weight? I wouldn't chrono at all, but just write down what BB weight people use. Why would you write it down? Because people sometimes change BB weights or yeah. Why would you don't chrono and write it down, Jasper? I know you're in here.
Yes. It's really not needed to chrono. Just put 2 chronometers in front of the field so people can test their own rifle and see what output they have. Mm-hmm. It's their responsibility. And when they are going into the field, just walk around with different weight of BBs and just pick people out. It's way more effective than chronoing people who are going back to the safety, put another spring in, and are going to cheat anyway. Yeah. If you just pick those people out, and you will find the cheaters, because if you see someone is shooting too hard, like a sniper, try him with 0.4 or 0.45, and you will see if he is creeping. They won't creep with 0.1 joule, they will creep with a lot of more. So you will pick those out and you can punish them.
Yeah, that's I agree. That's the thing that I said. That's how, in my opinion,
it saves a lot of time for the organization as well.
Yep.
And if you do it structurally, people don't dare to cheat anymore. But you need to educate them, because a lot of SSG players who are buying the sniper rifle of Verage are coming to our field shooting with 0.4 and are always creeping. And then I have to disappoint them and tell them that they can play with their gun, but they don't even know what Joule Creep is.
Yeah, and it's not always their fault. They should inform a little bit and go to a shop and inform themselves. But it's their responsibility, and I think that the player is getting off really easy in a lot of cases. Like they can easily say, "It's not my fault. I went to the shop and they just fixed it for me." Like, no,
that's what they say. But now we have a way to punish them.
It's your rifle. It's your responsibility.
True.
And in the Netherlands, with the NABV, you got the. It's easier because everybody, you know everybody. In Belgium, we don't, and people don't care. So it's harder. And in the Netherlands, it's easier because you know every player and you can do something about that.
Yeah, Jasper, you were leaving the sweet stuff out of your comment. Like, how do they punish players in the Netherlands when they...
Well, field owners now have a way to communicate with the NABV, and they can send in a form with the restriction number of the card. People always need to wear them with them, and if they cheat and they are doing something that they are not allowed to do, they can just cut them on their. How do I say that? They can't play anymore. They just they punish them and they ban them from being a member of the NABV.
Oh wow, that's quite harsh.
Well,
it has happened like twice now,
and that's something that I really like, and that's also something that I personally would like to have in Belgium too. Some kind of, not banning people, but some kind of system where people can communicate with each other, and that's something that I have been doing for years now. Try to get all the organizers together and communicate with each other. And but we have some restrictions going on because of the privacy thing, and we are an alliance, an airsoft alliance in Belgium, but we don't have an authority. And we have to work together with the organizers, and that is not always easy. I'm trying my best to do that, but that's taking a lot of energy and a lot of time. So yeah, yeah. I like it how it's done.
Is one of the players who has been banned was playing with a very hot sniper. He went back to the respawn, taken by the marshal. The marshal let him back in, and he just increased his Joule Creep of his Joule again, and was shooting like 3.5 Joule in the field, and he shot someone's glasses.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah, they made an action from that, and he got banned. So he's not allowed to play airsoft for the next 2 or 3 years, I think.
So yeah, I think that is a system that works. Yeah, yeah, it works.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's hard, but it works. One of the things.
No, it's not hard. It's safety. It's your safety and my safety. So yeah, I totally agree with this.
Yep, I agree with that too. It's just I agree. Let's keep with that. Otherwise, I will go on a sidetrack too far off. Let's go fast over the chat so to see if I don't miss anything. We testing use different weight BBs. Creamer events stop testing before the events. Toothless, yes, that's one of the organizers that is testing that system out now. Snipers 0.44 AG. I think you're just talking about different weights to carry and test them on. And just in game, yes, I like my system. It has worked so far, and none of my players have caused me not to trust them. Yes, John, that's something that I said. If you can trust your players, there is no issue at all. Like if I do events, I don't have to chrono my people. The people that are coming to the events, because yeah, I trust them, and I don't have any issues with them. And if they have a problem or they need to test their rifle, there will be chronos there so they can test it out. That's again the people, you need to trust them, and in a lot of cases you can trust them all. They also should keep in mind changing values if it's 9 in the morning and 30 in the afternoon and the player tests. Yep, that's Jorgen. That is correct. That's something that I said, that a lot of the variables change during the day. That's one of the variables. The temperature is changing. That's why you should never put your replica on the FPS Joule limit. Also true, Toothless. That's why we have a margin, and that's why all my rifles are around 320, 330 FPS. That's around 1 Joule, 1.1 Joule, something like that. 1.1. But shops should also be in like with this. If a player goes to them and they say like, put it on the limit, they should say like, I'm not going to put it on the limit. I'm going to give you like some margin. So if something goes wrong, but the problem is that people will ask like, yeah, put it on the limit. And then the shops will just put it on the limit. But then they are informed. With the Belgium Airsoft Association, we try to inform players with a lot of things, but it's really hard to reach a lot of players because a lot of communities are tucked away in Belgium. Reading chat really fast. Always set them 10-20 FPS. So yes, that's the thing that I said. It's your responsibility. If you speed with your car, you get a fine as well. Also true. You don't need to ban people right away. Inform it. True. People are assuming everyone is running close to Joule limits. I find that not the case at all. Most of my players are running stock guns, which are way below field limits. Yes, John, and be happy with that. That was the case here also when I started playing, but that changed really fast. Especially with the new sniper rifles that are creeping like crazy. Jasper, but you can't control a green gas or CO2 replica. It's depending on the gas. Well, you can, for example, change your green gas. Talking about this comment, by the way, from Jorgen. You can use different gas. If it's cold, use red gas, and if it's warm, use green or blue gas. Don't use black gas in the summer, because then you can control your output. So you can just have different bottles for different temperatures. CO2 is something different, but again, it's your gun, it's your responsibility. You should know what your gun is doing on different temperatures. So if you know that your gun is shooting hard, or hard, is it something? If it's shooting hot in the summer, don't use it in the summer because you know it's over the limit. I play with 2.2 joules instead of 2.3, green, red, black. So in some way you can. Yes, people always find a way to cheat. And this has to be said, like, it's not the big group of people that wants to fuck it up for everybody. It's a small amount of people that try to push that limit, go over that limit. And it's those people that we, one, need to inform that it's not right to do that. And two, if they keep continuing to do that, like they do in the Netherlands, just give them some sanction or whatever. But that's really interesting stuff here about the testing process. I'm gonna, like, if you want to keep talking about that, I can make a channel on the Discord where we can discuss this a little bit more, because it's really interesting what John says, that he doesn't have any problems with this on his field. But it's something that we have problems with on a lot of fields here in Belgium. So that's why we had to react to it. And that's also one thing that I want to do, is communicate with people all around the world, because for example, I talk to people from Bosnia, and they don't, oh, I'm not talking too long, talking hard. They don't even know what speedsoft is. And I was like, they know, but like, it's weird. So they might have problems in the future that we already had. So we can talk with them, like, we fixed this in this way, and this worked, this didn't work, this only made it worse. So that's why I want to do those live streams with people all around the world to talk about airsoft stuff. And that's why my Discord is here. To connect with people all over the world, and yeah, just find ideas and make it better for everybody. But I think I will start to finish off this stream, because we have been going for 2 hours now. Just drink. Yeah, I'm gonna drink a little bit. Thank you, Wim, for the heads up. It's energy juice, so I don't think it's the best solution. But yes, I think we can, if there are no more questions about the data, I think we can call it a day for today. If you have any remarks on how the stream went, or if you didn't like anything, or you liked something, because like, I like the Discord thing that you can just hop in and talk with me about stuff. But I also like that we can talk after and before the game, before the live stream. But if you have any remarks, just post it in the comments on this video if you're watching it later, or go to my Discord and come talk with us. But yes, I don't really have a good way to end off. It's awesome. Thanks for teaching us. I'm not teaching. I'm just showing you stuff. I don't think it's teaching. I learned a lot by attending.
You can always finish with a song.
No, I will not start singing. I will not start singing anyway. I will give you a background. There we go. We have a nice person now in the background. Oh, maybe one more thing before I forget. We have the the Popular Airsoft Choice Awards coming up. I made a video, are working on a video, and I thought it was going to be on the 16th, the end of the nomination period, but it is next Monday. I'm going to release a video on Monday with my nominations on who I nominate. But before it's too late, I want to say, if you don't know who to vote for the female category, just vote for Lisa, Skinny Bitch. I will give you, you don't need a link. You can find her on Instagram, and if you don't follow her on Instagram, excuse my French, do that anyway. And on Monday, I will release all the other categories and explain you why I chose those people and brands for that category. So more for that on Monday, and then you can vote. Or if you want to already get your vote in there, go to the Popular Choice. I always forget it. It's the Players' Choice Awards of 2021. It's the 12th edition. Go to the website, fill in the form, and send in your nominees. And then after that, you have your voting period. And don't forget to vote for your favorites. Did I forget something? I don't think so. And with that, I want to wish you a very good evening. And oh yeah, if you don't sub, if you didn't sub already to the YouTube channel, it really helps the channel if you or just give me some support on the channel and give me a sub if you like it. If you don't like it, also you don't have to sub. I just have to say it so people don't forget to sub to the channel. Then every week I get a new video out about anything airsoft related, but you know that because you are here. And with that, I want to end off this live stream, and I hope you have a good evening, and I'll see you all next Monday for a new video. Bye.